Hey guys, what's up? Caleb Downing here, and today we have the FK BRNO. I don't know if you're supposed to say BRNO or how exactly you're supposed to say this. And this is not my firearm. This is a firearm that was loaned to me for a video. And after the video's done, we're going to give it back to its owner and it'll go on its merry way. And I'm going to try not to say interesting too many times. However, this gun is interesting and I don't know what I think about it yet. I haven't shot it yet. I've played around with it a little bit and it's interesting, but again, I'm going to try to not use that word too many times. I'll try to use something else. So anyway, I don't know a whole lot about this gun. I honestly don't. Some of you probably know a lot about this gun, so chime in, correct me where I'm wrong, but I'm just allowing you to watch me go through the process of just kind of discovering this thing. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so usually, sorry, my hand's a little wet. Usually whenever I do a video review thing of a firearm or an optic or something, I know something about it, right? I know, you know, I'm reviewing it for a company or it's something that I've really been interested in, and so, you know, I've done some research and stuff. This is one of those things to where, like I said, this is not my gun, so I didn't do a bunch of research coming into this. This was a buddy of mine who got this gun and is like, hey, before I pick it up, go look at it, go check it out. And there's a lot of other backstory to this gun, that's his backstory and stuff, but again, once I opened this thing up and started checking it out, I was like, this is not generally the kind of firearm that I would pick up, okay? But it is interesting. Sorry, I said it again. I was trying not to. But it's this guy right here. If you've never seen one of these things, now you have. It looks like RoboCop's gun, right? Where it's got, I mean, the recoil systems down here. It's just like further set apart. It almost looks like it should be like an integrally suppressed gun, right? I mean, it kind of looks like that. It is a single action, not double action, single action only, right? Yes, it is. Okay, make sure. I thought so. Optics ready. I think you can get threaded barrels for it. I think, maybe, I don't know, but he doesn't have one. But what you can do is swap out calibers. This thing comes in a, well, this one right here, this is in a, not 5.7, a 7.5, which is like a 95 grain projectile. This guy right here, it's like a 95 grain projectile that's screaming at around, I think, like 2,000 feet per second or something. And then you can swap it out to a 9mm, or you can swap it out to a 10mm and shoot 10 and 40 out of it. And we have those barrels. I'm not sure, after looking at everything when we got out here, I don't think I have a, actually maybe, no, maybe that's what these are. Maybe these things are 10mm can go in these magazines. I'm not sure. We have 9mm magazines and these 7.5 magazines. So anyway, I'm gonna load up a couple little things here. I'm just gonna shoot it. We'll group it. We don't have very much of this ammunition because my buddy who is letting me do this for him, he only bought a certain amount because these things are expensive. So once we shoot a couple of these things, kind of get a feel for it, we're gonna swap over to 9mm, and then we'll try the 10mm and 40 and see how those work. But these are just for funsies because these are like $2 a round from what I'm understanding. So I'll put these things back before I misplace that. And I'm gonna set up a target. Let's just shoot this thing. Let's quit talking about it. Let's just shoot this thing, see how it feels and all that. And yeah, let's try not to say that word that starts with an I. All right, so here we go. This guy does have a manual safety here on the side. See, there we go. So safety's off. We're at about 25 yards. I do not know where my rangefinder is. It's somewhere in this madness, but it's somewhere here. But we do have ear pro on because, yeah, we are not shooting suppressed. I'm used to shooting suppressed. Here we go. I'm procrastinating. Let's go. Let's just try to do 3 rounds center. There's nothing on the target. I'll show what it looks like here in a second. Here we go. No idea where those are hitting because I can't see the paper. Let's go look at it. All right, I'm obviously moving around a little bit. We have 1 shot up here and then 2 down here. I'm aiming down here. So I just need to clean up my shooting a little bit. Oh, we have a couple more in there. Recoil is weird. It's not hard, it's not harsh, but I do just need to tighten everything up a little bit now that I have the little feelsies out. Let's mark these, and then we'll shoot it again. This time we'll tighten it up and try to get a better grip. Here we go. All right, same point of aim and relatively same point of impact if I'm not flinching, because I definitely am moving around a little bit when I'm shooting this thing. Again, it's interesting. Check out these sights. If you can check out these sights, I don't know if it'll really focus in on them very much. There we go. They're like very, there we go. They're like super high precision sights that I feel like they're supposed to be. Look at that. I mean, for a pistol sight, and I think they were supposed to come with like ghost rings. They don't. But that front sight even, it's like this tiny little blade. A little bit hard to contrast, but it's interesting. And it is optics ready, so you could put an optic on here. It would be, again, interesting, but it will be very, very, very interesting to put an optic on here and see how well this guy actually shoots. I'm just blown away by how weird this thing looks and feels. It's like a CZ and that Silencer Co. integral suppressed pistol had a baby, except that the suppressed part didn't make it. All right, let's shoot some more. All right, so here we go. This thing actually we have the conversion barrel for it. The guy who actually owns this gun, he has I think we said earlier, he has the 10mm barrel, which also shoots 40, and then he has a 9mm barrel that's used. That one has some story behind it. But anyway, we swapped out, put the 10mm barrel in here, and it does look like, and this is me not knowing anything about this gun, it does look like the OEM 7.5 magazines should work perfectly fine for 10mm. So here's 10mm. I've got, what do I have in here? 11 rounds? I think I have 13 rounds. Something like that. Let's just shoot a little bit, shoot some steel stuff. Let's just make sure the gun cycles and works and stuff. And, because that's half of what we're doing, is just function checking this for the guy. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, let's put a couple on paper. I'll just put a couple on paper. We'll look at the group later. These do not look like great hits, but you know what? Let's just shoot steel, because steel is very forgiving, because it's a big target. See? One of his ideas, my understanding of this, is having this as a bear gun. And for shooting steel targets like this, which is it's a big target, bear's kind of a big target, it's working. It's doing its job. Something else, like we've been mentioning, it even says it in the instructions, is you can use your 40 Smith & Wesson, supposed to be able to, which should be, in my experience, on a system like this should be smooth. This is a heavy gun. So let's see, this is 40. Oh, see, now 40 is the way to go. Okay, yes, that's much nicer. That's wimpy. Okay, I'll put 3 in the head of the target, best we can. Oh, a little jam. No, doesn't like that. All right. So he doesn't really like slow fire. I wonder if that's the fact that the round is sitting so far back, since this is a 40 and a 10mm would take up more room, if that's what the problem is. Not sure. Uh-oh. Let's see if this does anything. No, that worked, okay. Alright, didn't lock back, but that's okay. So 40 works. 10mm works. Obviously 40 If you have a 10mm pistol, especially like with not a revolver, but well, I guess even a revolver. I don't know if they have 10mm revolvers. Probably do. Rabbit Trail. If you have a 10mm handgun, right, running 40 through it can be very nice, because generally a 10mm is going to have a very stout recoil system, nice beefy slide generally, which means it's heavy and it's got, you know, a strong recoil system, and it's made to handle 10mm, which is punchy and fast and all this stuff. If you stick 40 in it, it's like a more anemic round, and so it just feels better. Now, obviously, we ran into a couple little cycling issues. Now, maybe that's a new gun thing. Maybe that's a whole bunch of who knows what's. But it's smooth. It is smooth. Last one we're gonna try out is the 9mm barrel. Let's throw that in here, and before we do that, let's go check our hits for 40 and 10. Okay, so I should have checked my hits earlier because now I'm a little bit confused. This is our 7.5. We had one round of 7.5 that we shot right here, okay? This is our 10mm. 3 rounds right there. This thing was all shot up before, so I don't know who else shot up everything else. The paper was clean, but this is my understanding. This is my 3 shot to 10mm. These two, I believe, are my 2 shots of 40. I do not know where my 3rd shot of 40 is, because there's other holes, but I don't know which holes are which holes. So I'm not shooting it super well, and that's maybe just me, but that's what I'm getting right now, which is really bad. Let's put the 9mm barrel in it, and we'll see. We'll shoot that on this other target that has nothing on it. All right, so when swapping out barrels, I found out this little piece comes out. Now, I probably could read the instructions, and it will probably confirm some things or whatever, but this looks to be a spacer. However, it's kind of hefty, which would mean to me, it would appear that you could potentially use something like this to weight your slide. Either make it heavier or lighter. Maybe have an aluminum one, or maybe have one that's like tungsten. Imagine if you had this thing tungsten. That'd really add some weight, but that'd be expensive. But I'm not sure if that's exactly what they're going for here. At least it's a spacer, right? What that is for is when you put your barrel in, make sure you get the right barrel. All right, put your barrel in the system. Your guide rod slips in there, and your spring slips in there, right? So everything's kind of held in there like that, something like that. So it's interesting. Sorry, said that again. But it is interesting. But I do not know if that is an intentional design for this thing to be like potentially have different weighted systems like this. But that is really actually pretty cool if that is the design, because I don't know any other slide that has weights in it that you could swap out. Unique. We'll just stick with that word. But anyway, that's the 9mm barrel in there now. Let's go shoot 9mm. All right, now this one does scare me just a little bit. Last time, from what I understand, this is a used barrel, the 9mm barrel. And last time that this was used, it blew up. My understanding of how that all went down, and I don't have all the information, but it seems like there were very high pressure 9mm rounds being put through this. I don't have an x-ray and machine, so I can't tell if there's fissures or fractures in here. From my general observation, it does appear that it is functional. It doesn't seem bulged or messed up in any way. So for the science, we're gonna shoot it. I am wearing eye pro. I am wearing ear pro, and I'm using 124 grain American Eagle, not plus P, but we'll see. Hey, that rhymed. Famous last words. Here we go. All right, that ain't bad. Let's put this on paper like we said. We'll shoot center target. I know I'm all over the place, that's terrible. Alright, seems nice. Except for that flinch. Alright. Alright, so my shooting is not too hot today, so we stepped it up a little bit. Got 9mm in here. This is at like, was this 5-6 yards, something like that? Not much at all, but I just want to get some feels for how this thing shoots, and hopefully you can see the target. Alright, so that's all she wrote there. Let's look at that real quick. Alright, so anybody could shoot a group like this. This is not an impressive a group, especially at like 3 or 5 yards. Anybody should be able to do that and much better. However, what it is telling me is even at 3 or 5 yards, whatever that is, I am to the left. I mean, I'm shooting pretty much center, you know, top center is what I'm aiming at, and I'm hitting over here, which just tells me no wonder I'm shooting, you know, off sometimes. Well, because the gun's not zeroed. It obviously needs to be zeroed. As far as cycling with 9mm, it obviously needs some plus P ammo to fully get this thing to cycle and operate, because we were having some stovepipe issues, although those are relatively easy to clear and stuff. But if you used properly loaded plus P ammo, you should be perfectly good to go as far as that goes. All right, so the FK, is that what this is? The FK BRNO. What do I think about it? This is RoboCop's gun. If RoboCop ever had a gun, it's really, I do not want to use that word. It's ingenuitively, I don't know. It's really cool that a pistol like this can go between 40, 10, 9, and 7.5. And if it can do all that stuff, then you probably could also get a 357 Magnum barrel for it, because 357 Magnum is same as 40 as far as case size and all that kind of stuff goes. So a very versatile handgun. I will say that, a very versatile handgun. A very weird design, the way that it has just this very much drop down recoil system in here. A traditional pistol is going to have, you know, that recoil guide rod recoil assembly just under the barrel, whereas this one's offset by almost an inch. Like, it's offset by quite a bit, which I think is part of the reason why it shoots a little different for me. I mean, the recoil it feels different. It does feel different. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, and I think that might be part of it. I'm sure that's part of it. It is a heavy gun. This is a full-size gun. This is not some kind of a compact thing. The guy who actually owns this, I believe he got this for like a bear protection style gun. And honestly, I mean, you could shoot 10mm out of it all day and it'd be fine. I wouldn't carry 40 in it just because we had, you know, those couple little cycling issues. And why would you carry 40 for bear protection when the gun's a 10mm? Carry 10mm. Or even this 7.5 stuff. This 7.5 stuff is screaming fast. And if you need some deeper penetration, which you kind of need for like a bear or a moose or something like that, that would make a lot of sense. Very, very unique firearm. It would be cool to put an optic on here and actually see what kind of real accuracy we can get. We're getting not great accuracy today. Granted, I'm shooting with gloves and all the other excuses and stuff. But it's interesting. It is very, very interesting. The trigger pull on this has a safety. I keep forgetting about that. Trigger pull is not bad. It doesn't have a super, like, it doesn't come to a wall and then stop. It comes to a wall and then you kind of squeeze past it. So it's not like a candy cane break where you come to a wall, like a 1911, where you come to a wall and then just it pops. It's not like that. It's not quite like that. You do come to a wall, right? But then you kind of squeeze past it. Maybe that's partially maybe why my groups are a little bit off, trying to find excuses there. But it's unique. It's almost like a hybrid between a striker fire and a single action. It's kind of interesting, although I don't think there's any of that striker fire kind of thing going because it has an exposed hammer. It's not doing anything weird like that. So anyway, guys, that's the FN BRNO, the 940 10mm 7.5 RoboCop pistol. I would love to put a suppressor on this thing, but it doesn't have a threaded barrel, and I don't have a threaded barrel for it. But that would be really, really unique. That would be really, really unique. See, people like Flux, they need to make something like this. Like, this would make a lot of sense. A 7.5, like a Flux Raider in 7.5. That would make sense, because that is a shorty little thing with a blazing, crazy, powerful cartridge versus a 9mm, which is comparatively anemic. Comparatively, you can go fight me in the comments about that if you want to, but that would be quite interesting, quite unique. All right, so I'm gonna quit jibber jabbing about this thing. Like I said, I usually come into this with some kind of a motive. I wanted to, tell you about something that I found that's really, really cool, or explain a product or whatever. This is a little bit different, to where this was just kind of dropped in my lap, and I was like, I'm just gonna go explore this thing with you guys. So that's kind of what we did today. We explored it, we looked at it. It is extremely unique to me. I find it extremely unique. I mean, the fact you got a 7.5, which is a crazy round I'd never even heard of. I heard of 5.7, and I've shot 5.7. Never heard of 7.5, and it's a thing. It's quite interesting, quite unique. But the fact that you got that 40, 10, and 9, and I haven't looked into it all, but I would assume somebody out there has a 357 Magnum barrel, which kind of makes this like the end-all, be-all, eat everything except for 45 pistol. Like, if you wanted one pistol to do a whole bunch of stuff, well, that could maybe be this guy. I've always said it's the Glock 23, but this potentially could be, man, I wonder if they make a, what if that's too long? No, I don't know. I wonder if they make a 7.5 Glock. I have no idea. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna quit talking about this thing. I appreciate the guys sending this thing out, or not really sending it out, but allowing me to use it before I give it back to them. It's quite unique, quite interesting. What do you guys think about the FN BRNO? Is this something that fits a particular function in your usage, right? Do you guys have, any of you have one of these? What do you use it for? What are your pros and cons about it? What do you like about it? And for you guys that don't have one and maybe never heard of it, what's your take on guns like this? Do you see these as completely just eccentric extra things to have, or do you see an actual practical use for something like this, aside from being in RoboCop? Because I don't think it was, but it looks like it should be. Love to hear back from you guys. Let's go check it out in the comments. Y'all be good and be safe. I appreciate you guys, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next video. See ya.